Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authenticity. Today I'll be playing Daedalus Break, D for short.
And I am Katie, and I'm going to be playing Connie, Continuity, Connie for short. They're a little mixed up at the moment, but I'm Ching. I am here with the wonderful author, and I know that they think I'm wonderful too, so we're going to move on from the compliments and do an FPS.
If you haven't listened to Heart, you should listen to Heart.
Yes.
Indeed.
Speaking of which, I can still upload those. I'll work on that later. I just need to know what the Connie chicken one is called. But,
that's right.
We'll work on that another time.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to paint the thing, or should I? Should we roll to see who wakes up? Or do they both kind of just wake up?
I think it would be interesting if one of them is like awake before the other. It's God, I did.
They could roll Constitution and see who has the higher one. Let's see. What's your Constitution, bud?
I wait patiently for my PDF viewer to remember how to work.
Okay, Connie got a 15.
Okay, and Day. No. Anyways.
Day is a no. Got it.
24.
Oh, yeah, 20. No, they wake up. Damn. Okay. Yeah, no, you wake up first. Roommate. And they were roommates. That's got to be an FPS title one of these days. Anyway.
If it's not already, it's, yeah.
All right. Anyway, your turn. You go.
Coniday's eyes blink open, and sort of shift comfortably awake. Like, I think it's sort of that lazy, soft, warm feeling of, like, you've gotten actually a pretty good night's sleep, and you were really tired, and you feel refreshed, and kind of like you might drop off again, and it's just all is right with the world.
I will say, probably given the circumstances of who they share a body and mind with, they probably feel okay. Healing-wise and all that.
Yeah, they probably feel better than normal.
I'll just throw that out there. Also, they're definitely curled up like a little kitty.
Yeah, and they do big stretch and arch their back and spread their arms up above their head and sort of knock their hand against the low ceiling, and they sort of look at it like that doesn't usually happen. And they look up at the ceiling, they look down at their hand. Oh, that's not their hand. And the events of yesterday sort of filter back to Daedalus Break, and they narrowly avoid cursing out loud because they're pretty sure that would wake the other one up. Toot sweet.
And I can imagine it's nice to have a little bit of time to yourself.
Yeah. They, like... They're feeling very ginger. They don't want to, like... They don't want to mess with shit in this body because it's not entirely their body. I think they're just sort of, like, going to, like, sit and just, like... just sort of observe their workshop, their home, from the loft, from a higher perspective than usual. Because Daedalus Break is a very small person. This is not a small person anymore.
I think we decided, for inside joke reasons, they were 5'9". And Day, you said, was 2'11".
Yep. So they're just like, and whole board, like, whole extra basically 2.5 feet.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Connie lost that because he was 7'5". I smile and wiggle. I love that. But yeah, when do you want Connie to wake up?
It's probably not too much long after with a 15. And I think he has sort of a quiet awareness of just like someone paying attention to him as he wakes up.
You kind of feel yourself shudder as Connie. You kind of feel your head droop as Connie wakes up, and he's just like, "What the fuck was that?"
Morning, sunshine.
Oh, and you can feel the fact, the feeling of never having slept before and suddenly waking up is weird as fuck.
Mm.
And you feel that.
Do you
Connie is disoriented.
you gonna live?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
No, huh?
Is it normal to be even more tired after waking up?
Sometimes. It's a nice groggy feeling, I think.
Okay. He rubs at his face and seems to remember the situation with a little bit more clarity, and he's like, fuck.
Mm.
All right. Guess we're in for a longer ride than we supposed.
Yup. Can you roll an insight check with advantage?
Yes, I can. Here we go. It's so weird to play a character that might actually be competent in this. I'm so used to not this. Man, you said insight?
Insight with advantage.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, my rolls of shitness strike again. Maybe it'll be better this time. That's 23.
Oh shit, okay.
Yee.
This person that you have fused with is, you can feel their mind at the corners of yours, and they are, in their own mortal way, brilliant. This is, like, you can see the way they look at things over your own vision like a filter, and mathematics is a part of them the way that archival knowledge is a part of you. Like, this is what they breathe, what they live. They solve problems the way that other people breathe. And you can feel them mulling this over and not liking what they come up with.
Mm.
Like, they might not even be aware of it. They're just like, they're kind of stewing over there.
Mm. Do you want to roll insight?
Sure.
This one is probably going to be easy.
With advantage?
Yeah, with advantage.
14.
That's probably enough to, as Day is doing their scan, they realize that they're organizing information actually rather quickly into different categories, which they're used to doing, but this one feels like quite literally a physical, like they can just database pull it.
The way that
Like,
they think has
yeah.
changed.
Mm-hmm. Their organization is like what they would organize, but how do you think they used to pull information out into memory?
It was they've got a 20 in intelligence. Like, they're good at remembering things. They're good at this shit. Their history is like a +8. But it wasn't photographic. It wasn't, spontaneous. It wasn't like, it was very much like having, how do I want to say this? Like having
Kind
a
of,
workshop where you know where everything is, but no one
yeah.
else would be able to work with it.
It was organic for them.
It was organic.
It would just kind of come when they needed it.
Yeah, it was kind of like jazz.
Like jazz.
Yeah, like it's not really a set plan to it, not really like a lot of
You just make it sound good, improv, and
improv.
it works.
Yeah, I think that was actually the majority of how they thought and how they think, except for apparently now they just have a computer in their head. It's fine.
Yeah. And Connie isn't quite used to being able to fluidly think of things.
Mm.
And as you kind of look over everything, you realize that it can still be fluid, but it is very much what you want can instantaneously literally pop up like a document.
With a 23, they hate this. They like it's take a lot of pride in being, or not a lot of pride, but like a lot of confidence in being the smartest person in the room because they're familiar with their mind. They know they're smart. They know what they can do. But do they know what they can do still?
Mm.
This is
I
not
I
what they're used
handshake
to.
you because Connie also has a 20 intelligence. So it's 220 intelligences. Oh shit, do they have a 40 intelligence if they work together? Shit, we'll have to talk about that. Anyway.
There's a way to put together a fusion. We have not put together their sheet yet because they're not ready to work
Yeah.
to work completely fluidly together.
Nope.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, smart. And Connie just seems disconcerted. Like he's not trying to hide shit. Because he hasn't thought to. Because he's looking around and it's so weird to think of something like I guess what you could do, the difference between them is Connie is inside the box and Day is outside the box.
Exactly. And now
And
they're just
now,
sort of sitting on top of the box and like not understanding.
yeah, like they got a foot in the box and a foot outside the box, and maybe one is on their arm. There's lots of boxes and none of them make sense.
Mm. Box havoc.
The box havoc. Mixed with the urge for zoomies. Anyway,
Not right now. It's zoomies will come later.
Oh no, I'm just laughing because cats in boxes. Anyway,
fair enough.
But basically, Connie is just like processing. It's kind of like suddenly having creative freedom, and that's different for them, especially because they've never had emotions like this before, and so they're just kind of processing because this is a whole new way of viewing everything instead of just facts. It is basically it's life. It's different. It feels different, and he's not sure where to place that. And so he's just kind of loading, buffering.
You this kind of sucks, huh?
He doesn't answer. And it's not like he's ignoring you. It's more like he didn't notice.
Continuity?
Huh? Oh, I. You.
Thinking over there.
I have no idea, honestly. Is this how you see things?
Actually, not quite. I'm usually a little bit more all over the place.
More than this?
Yeah, this is pretty structured.
Wow.
This is really structured.
Wow.
Got mixed feelings.
I've never considered looking at things this way.
Me neither.
I'm not sure what I'm feeling.
I mean, I'm feeling several things. It's, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of confusion. Can you just sort of like pop things to mind like that? You don't have to use, mnemonics and shit.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
Like you try to remember something and it's there, like right there.
Is that not how it's for you?
No, it's like, and I think that they concentrate and like they sort of take him down a path of um like they show him how to remember the quadratic formula, and it's like that's it's almost like a song, like they remember the sounds of saying it, and that takes them through the entire formula. Then they remember an incident that happened when they were a little kid. They don't go exactly to that. They go to the smell of coffee. The other day they had coffee. It was good, but it wasn't that day. That day there was coffee. There was also birthday cake. Birthday cake smells like this. The birthday cake was sort of off to the side, and it was on the table. They were under the table. Oh, they were trying to light some firecrackers, but they couldn't figure out the matches.
Screw the dice. You feel Connie feeling really overwhelmed, and your hands go up to hold their head.
Hey, take it easy. What's wrong?
I'm not used to memories being a journey, I guess. Oh, that's so much all at once. I'm used to just the information when I want it, not everything being connected like that. Well, yes and no. I'm used to a timeline. There's a timeline, not a web.
I mean, I that's how thoughts are, aren't they? Just sort of like they don't pay attention to chronology. They don't pay attention to being alphabetized. They just sort of they all know each other.
Right. And do you want to roll insight with advantage again?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
24.
Yeah, you can tell that Connie is not sure how to process the emotion that's bubbling up, which is a mix of confusion and realization, and with that, some sadness and just upset.
Why do you feel sad? Why do you feel upset?
Is that what this? It feels very uncomfortable.
Well, there's a couple more in there.
Mm,
Talk.
that's not. It's not how I think. Not how I thought. It's been different. Even before we fused, it was becoming different, and I don't like it. When when you are supposed to be a god that observes and organizes events, like some sort of calendar, you don't need to think like that.
Yeah, I have a
I
bit of a trouble imagining, I think.
Well, I think there was a time before that I might have felt more, but I don't know if I knew what it was.
Take it easy. It's sorry. I can try to keep stuff on my side of the brain.
I'll try to do the same. I know that you're not used to uh, being in an archive.
I mean, it's scary in that it's not me, but I won't hate it. It's I think it's a little bit overwhelming for things to just sort of pop up like that. Like you're gonna get jump scared by your own thoughts, but um, it's handy. I don't.
It's it's strange to think of something and then have something completely unrelated pop up because somehow there was a connection. And you not knowing what that connection was.
Which connection?
I and you get again the feeling of like nostalgia that he doesn't know what the hell that is. Like he's familiar with it, and it feels like it hurts and like longing for something that he isn't sure how to process, because you also remember the fact that this has really jumbled them being fused,
Mm.
and that as they look around, certain things that you should know that kind of pop up with their names and titles and like things that they should be, there's some that have question marks next to them. He doesn't remember exactly what it is.
Mm.
And as he looks around, he thinks to himself, and he's like, well, this is where you create things for others, right?
Yeah, this is my workshop.
It makes me think of someone,
Oh yeah?
and I didn't expect that.
What are you reminded of?
A well, as a little chicken told me, apparently a parent of some sort, but I don't know what that means.
You get a flood of. You remember very tall people, taller than you're used to, tall enough to just sort of handle you. Um, and you remember a tiefling man, half toon with dark skin and a tail like yours, um, with a big beaming smile and a beard. You remember a woman with sort of foggy purple skin, also tiefling, who smiled at you like you were her entire world. And you remember her going away and how much that hurt. And you remember a um another woman, also sort of dark red skin, cooler, less open, but who loved you just as much. And you remember little flashes of talking with them, discussing designs with your father, showing your mother what you made, and being just absolutely ecstatic that she loved it, even though she always says she loves it. And standing up straight and looking nice, and having her stepmom run her cool hand through your hair and fluffing it and calling you her little gem.
Do you feel water on your face?
Oh, sorry, sorry. It's easy to come easy. Um, I don't I don't know how to
Your your shared heart is beating very fast.
tell me what's wrong. I don't know how to fix this. Tell me what's wrong.
You feel Connie in what feels like almost paralyzed from emotions.
Easy, just focus on me. Focus on me. It's okay.
Your breathing is shallow. You realize you're having a panic attack.
Okay. Um. Okay. Ow. I hate these things.
Mm.
Tell me.
And what flashes through your mind is a figure that is again tall. You don't know their face. They're how would you describe
Hmm.
who I mean?
Um. Very, very tall. Um. Broad in places and thin in others. Um. Has a clock face with numerals on it from a forgotten age. Um, Dressed in sort of flowing metallic robes. Um, and they always changed, they always shifted, but some things were impossible for them to ever hide. And their hands were very cool, and their hugs were very warm.
You remember suddenly you feel your POV, your point of view shift, where you feel like this smaller person. And you remember that before your domain was large, you still felt, and that you have forgotten. And this person was very important to you. And you remember a pain when apparently they left and you had no idea where they had gone.
They
And
just leaves.
everything that they had ever built or ever was associated was also just gone. Like they had never existed.
Mm.
And it really hurt because they weren't just gone. Everything that could have reminded any one of them was gone. And you could not find them. They were gone from the continuity.
Coniday's hands come up to grip their sides and serve a tight hug, and they bow over themselves, and the part of Coniday that is Day reaches to the part of Coniday that is Connie, and leads them through thoughts. 5 things that they can hear. The traffic outside.
As you're doing this, a taller figure that you remember being older, that you also cared about, and they cared about you, but it was complicated. They also left. They told you that they were going to leave. You know where they are, but they're no longer who they were, and it hurts. But somehow the thought of them is also comforting, and they begin to focus on what you're saying.
And 4 things that they can see. 3 things they can touch. And rather than the last 2, I think that they just, at this point, like, they might be a little bit mushed together, and they just take stock of 2 and 1 things that they are feeling right now.
2 and 1 things, like they're feeling similar things kind of deal?
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of feel that analogous, like, sync up kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had been outright sobbing. And it really hurt, but you also felt the comfort. And somehow you start to calm down, but you're scared at what the hell that was and what was that?
But you also sort of know, and you feel rueful about it. You aren't sure whose problems these are, but you sure did bring them into this fusion, didn't you?
You also you just feel confused. You're not sure who you are.
But maybe that doesn't matter. They can figure that out in a second once they remember how to think straight. Because thinking's really hard right now. Thinking hurts. So I think they just sort of very carefully lower themselves back down into the blankets and curl their tail around themselves and just breathe and feel very young and very new and very lonely. But not completely lonely. It is so good not to be alone right now.
It is very nice not to be isolated.
Not to be scared.
It is. It is very nice to have someone to hold.
We want to roll, each roll a wisdom to see how long it takes for them to calm down from this. Wisdom saving throw.
And kind of separate again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's see. Your wisdom save is a +9. That's a 12. That's kind of yeah.
I'll say 12. It takes them a while.
We've rolled the same number. It's gonna be a bit.
If you will, I think that like separating again is sort of this kind of sticky affair. Like, it's not like two stacks of books fell into each other and you have to sort which ones it's which. It's more like unsticking two wads of gum, like taking off the pieces that don't want to come off and don't like it's.
Yeah,
It's just
I imagined if the books fell, but the pages ended up in different covers.
Mm-hmm.
Which story belonged to which book?
And then but eventually it might take, a good hour or so, hour and a half. But eventually, the person who is pretty sure that their daedalus break takes a breath and just sort of like reaches in their head for the other one.
That other one is terrified. But they're quiet. They're not going to cry anymore. They're just realizing the extent of what has happened.
Let me try something different. And I'm going to roll a wisdom.
Yeah. They get the feeling very distinctly, though, of I don't want to disappear.
We're going to see what we can do about that. We're going to figure this out.
And then you hear Connie very quietly in your mind say, I don't want you to disappear.
A 13, they're going to try to pull a stunt. Do you think a 13 is enough for a stunt?
What kind of stunt?
They're going to try to visualize with their imagination sort of a room. A tall room with shelves, like what you would think about when you think of like a comforting sort of like study. Like
it looks very similar to your workshop, but in Connie's library.
And they're going to imagine themselves, their fluffy hair, their tail mended, their clothes, it's the right amount of fingers. And they're going to sort of squish themselves into that shape. And they're going to sort of invite Connie to imagine himself and put himself in the room so that they can have a second to just sort of do boundaries.
What you see is probably not what you expect. You kind of remembered what you or Connie, you quickly correct yourself, Connie looked like. Very tall, a highlighter stick of a man. And you see that for a second kind of come into solidify, but quickly fall down to their hands and knees, and very quickly they look like a child. Before slowly looking more like a teenager. And as they breathe and look up at you, you see their face age and start to look more like what you thought they would look like. Maybe barely 30.
They hop on over and sort of like hold him up by the elbows and sort of like, okay, easy, take it easy. That was a
He's
lot.
breathing.
That was a lot.
He's being very hard and clutching at his chest.
Okay. Okay, we need to be careful. Careful. Maybe that's supposed to be what happens. Maybe it's not. We know nothing. Oh.
It comes to you kind of what they're thinking of, realizing that you know how some tunes are just paper and ink
Mm,
and nothing else?
yeah.
Connie is not used to what a heartbeat feels like, or what this panic feels like, or quite what breathing like this feels like. They were basically a drawing out of a book.
Okay. Just can sync your breathing up with mine, okay? In and out. In and out.
He nods and follows suit
Mm,
and holds your hand very tightly.
mm. And they just sit on the floor with him in this, like, when they're not paying attention to it, I think that, like, it goes sort of dreamlike and foggy, this study.
I feel like it also starts to kind of divide down the middle, where Connie's side starts to look more like the library,
Mm,
and Day's side starts to look more like the shop.
yeah. And they're sitting in the exact center. Man.
Connie is very quiet.
Mm. Day's gonna take out a little notebook. Of course they have a notebook. They always had a notebook. Why wouldn't they have a notebook here?
Mm.
And so
Mindscape or in reality?
they always had a notebook on them in reality. So that sort of translated, I think.
Mm.
But in the Mindscape, they take out a notebook and they write in it with their tail and just sort of like scratch down little observations. And it's sort of like there's hypothesis 1, this is what's supposed to happen. Hypothesis 2, this is what's supposed to happen, but it's malicious. Hypothesis 3, this is not what's supposed to happen, but it's benign. Hypothesis 4, this is not supposed to happen, and it's going to have a deleterious effect.
Have a what effect?
It's sort of a deleterious, like it's.
Oh, delayed. Or
I'm probably mispronouncing the word. It's one of those ones that you never hear, you only see. But like
want to type it?
deleterious. Sure. Actually, let me Google it to make sure that I'm not like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like a damaging effect.
Ah, so like it will have a damaging effect. Okay. I'll have to look up that word. I like collecting words.
I'm shocked.
You're what?
Okay, so I don't know how to say it, but it's
Type it out. You can put it in FPS notes. Yeah. Oh. Oh, I think that's like delete.
yeah.
Deleterous.
Yeah, it's like it basically means damaging.
I've never heard that word before. I will have to remember that. So it was, what were the theories again? It was, it would have a damaging effect.
Basically,
This was supposed to what happened. Mm-hmm.
Basically, this is what's supposed to happen, and it's going to be good. What's supposed to happen, it's going to be bad. This is not what's supposed to happen, but it's okay. This is not what's supposed to happen, and it's bad. And they just sort of like stare at them and start just like putting down like the basic objective facts, what they know about the situation.
I think that you kind of slide the notebook for where they're looking down so that they can see it, and you immediately feel that like Rolodex feeling of images and files immediately being brought up and connected on like a conspiracy board type idea.
In the
Of
Mindscape,
connecting
there's
dots.
probably like an actual board that rolls over.
Actually, it looks more like books flying off of shelves and pages being copied and taken out and put into a new book to make what feels like a new situation to address. And you think about all the books on these shelves and how each one is probably a different project that they have worked on, different books that they have collected. / they have taken the plot and made the books and have made them make sense. And now they are trying to do that with the information you have written. And the feelings that you get is something like, it was intentional. It's probably it's probably fine and good. That one is probably off the table. And then more thought processes, connecting dots, trying to remember things that they have always remembered and them being fuzzy. Like they open a book and the pages are blank except for like certain words and they're redacted. And those books just dropping to the floor and kind of turning to ash and being blown away as more books are kind of taken off the shelf. And the conclusion that they come to in this smaller than you feel that they wanted book as it kind of floats into their hands is it's not supposed to happen. The people who did it probably wanted it to be good, but it's not good for us.
I don't know that I agree with that. Mostly because I don't know that I trust if we can. Maybe what's good for them isn't exactly good for us.
Exactly. It's subjective. They felt like they hand over the book. They seem to not know how to explain it because it has more emotion in it than they're used to having. They're not used to a conclusion that's emotional. And so you kind of flip it open, and you shouldn't be able to read whatever the hell this language is, but you can. And it says something along the lines of they wanted it to be good, but that was how they felt about it. And they did not like that we did not like it. And we were hurt. That is their theory from everything that they could remember about plot lines and applied phlebotomum. And given the fact that they were injured and the door was busted, and that they don't want it now, meaning it was not their choice. It was not something that was meant to necessarily be good, because otherwise, why would they be struggling to this extent? Thus, it was an outside force and not them. And considering how lost they got into each other just then, it doesn't seem like what they would want.
I mean, I agree that I don't think we consented to this, but like, we don't know what's about to happen.
No. I don't know why this is the conclusion that I came to. And he just kind of shrugs his shoulders and gives a attempt at a smile and finally looks back up at you. And you notice their eyes. You had forgotten / now you remember. They're magenta, very starkly magenta. with the very neon green yellow iris with no pupil. But somehow the magenta looks bloodshot, like they'd been crying.
Can I give you a hug?
They just nod quietly.
Come over and hug.
They pull you into their lap and they curl around you, and you feel a very desperate hug.
Can probably feel tiny little pricks of claws on the backs of their shoulders because it's they need this too. They're doing their best to stay objective, but they are so scared.
And I think if it's all right with you, as they do this, Connie is hugging them tighter, and they kind of come back to themselves in reality, and somehow them worrying about the other as a separate entity, they feel separate.
Okay. Noted.
And you are breathing very easily and slowly, and your chest no longer hurts, but it is sore.
Okay. Connie? Okay. Fuck, we need to write that down.
Yes. And you feel like what feels like a window pop-up kind of deal, and the note being taken and then cataloged.
Okay, I'm also gonna write it down in like real life.
No, I'm sorry, my mind just does that.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't think my notebook's in on us. Can we? Can we go?
You actually you feel a really weird sensation as Connie's like, well, let me double check something. And you feel your hand just kind of vanish into thin air and reach into a space that's bigger than it should be, looking for something, and then pulling out what you think is your notebook.
Why? I don't. Okay. Oh boy. Oh, that's gonna be. Just so you know, that might start acting up at some point.
And you know that was a hammer space.
Yeah.
And a bigger one than it should have been.
I will say they also have a hammer space. They don't fucking trust it because they are only a quarter toon.
Yeah, you figure the hammer space of a toon god is pretty fucking big. And Connie just he goes to hand it to you and then realizes it's your hand as well.
They start jabbing at it with their tail. So like, oh wait, they can't. Okay.
You shudder as you feel that feeling of reaching in again and pulling out a pen.
Oh god, can you give me like 2 seconds of warning?
I'm sorry, it's habit.
It's fine. Okay. And they take a note down. Okay. We should eat breakfast. I assume it's still morning.
You actually your stomach rumbles and Connie like jumps.
Easy. Okay.
Your hands, your arms and hands like snap across your stomach, and he's like, "What the hell?"
We are hungry. That's what's going on.
You feel like a staticky confusion.
You remember yesterday you were hungry.
I didn't know it came with vibrations.
That would be surplus air in your stomach.
You say that, and he seems horrified.
Yeah, Oh boy, you're gonna be in for a time, huh?
You feel like the look of cartoonish worry and concern.
Okay, let's just go.
Yes.
You wanna walk again, bud?
Um, you feel your feet take a few tentative steps, and you actually notice that they're more even than they were before.
Hmm. Okay.
And their hands are a little bit more even. They still got different fingers on either one, but the sizes match up.
Mm.
And your clothing is a little bit more cohesive. And you actually notice you have two horns again. They don't curl all the way like they used to. They kind of stick out at the back, but there's two again.
Mm. Okay. We've
Mm.
we sure did change, huh?
You feel the footsteps stop and your tail flick as Connie reaches up, and you feel that both ears are pointed. But also, they seem to have earrings and jewelry that you assume are Connie's. And she just goes silent again.
What you thinking?
You feel anxiety.
Like more so than usual for daybreak, or?
Yeah, so you feel anxiety coming from Connie, which before you have felt like a muted version of it and confusion, but now he's recognizing what it is. And so it's stronger than it has been.
Mm. Let's focus on yeah, let's focus on getting some food in us. Food will actually help that.
It will.
It actually does. Food and water.
He nods and
Also
goes
sleep.
to the ladder and kind of, you are used to like sliding down the runs in the morning, and you feel the muscle memory kick in and Connie do the same and then stop at the bottom, feel confused again, and then realize what had happened and continuing on to the kitchen.
Mm. Yeah, so I don't know what we have. We have some celery left. We should get more. We have no bread. We have
Mm.
no jam. We got peanut butter. Peanut butter's fine. We should probably go to the store. They don't want to go to the store. They don't want to go to the store.
Connie is like, the store's where you buy more food, right?
Yep,
Do you have money?
I do indeed.
Okay, that's good. I don't necessarily want to steal things.
Yeah, no, what do you take me for? Come on.
I have no idea, honestly, at this point.
I don't think I'm the weird one here. I think you are.
I think I am. And yeah, he says that, and you feel with stark realization, he's realizing he's a mess.
Okay, don't easy. You're okay. Come on. It's the store won't hurt us. Probably. Actually, it might be easier than usual. Yeah, we still have that pen, right? Let's make a list. Cheese, eggs, bread, uh, probably some mayo, some tuna. Um, you're not vegetarian, are you?
I never ate.
Do you like it? Do you have any sort of like? Do you have any sort of Gosh,
Are you
how do I
trying
even
try,
like?
Are you trying to ask if I have allergies?
Well, I'm sort of like objections to eating like something that was once alive.
No, that's normal, isn't it? The whole cycle of life shit. I
Well,
don't want them to have been abused or anything, but I don't think I have any
well, I mean
opposition
like
to that.
Yeah, I mean, peanut butter, was never alive. Lettuce
Yes,
was
it
never
was.
alive.
Yes, it was.
I
What do you
mean, it was
mean?
peanuts.
Yes, but it was a plant, and plants are alive.
Okay. Um,
You get the feeling that he sees that as equal somehow.
we will talk about that later. That is morally a little bit distressing. Anyways,
He's never had to distinguish before when making a timeline.
God.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to they're going to basically catalog all the things that should be in the fridge that aren't, which is mostly a day chore. Um,
Yeah, Connie is not sure what to get or what they might like.
mm,
But you do get the inkling of wanting something savory. But he doesn't know what that is, and you think that's coming from you, but it's getting its wires mixed up a little.
mm, yeah, they definitely put down, chicken, beef, ham,
Mm-hmm.
definitely more celery, some different types
Mm-hmm.
of greens. Sorry, I'm just like captivating roleplay, creating a grocery list.
I mean, it's more successful than I am in real life. I usually go to the store and I wander around the aisles and I'm like, that sounds good.
Mm,
One
but
day I'll have a grocery list. Mira's actually the one who makes the grocery list.
I pet you both.
Yeah,
And I think
that's
the
okay.
things, like, while they're like thinking, okay, do you want pears or apples this time of year? Um, when you hear,
Oh, you hear that? Really quick, you say that and you have like Farmer's Almanac popping up in your head.
mm, and
And
like they're just like, no, it's like
mm,
they're both. You can grow both in greenhouses. Like, I just want to know which one like is
mm,
probably gonna be fresher. Um,
yeah. He shakes his head like he did not mean to do that. It was literally just like suddenly a thought popped up, and which he's not necessarily used to, and he's like, sorry. And kind of laughs. Which
and
it feels good to hear them laugh.
it does that sort of makes their mood a little bit better.
Mhm.
But their mood immediately drops when you hear from the sort of the front room. Day, I'm. What happened to your door? And they're just like, ah, shit. Okay.
Yeah, you feel your head turn as Connie looks to the front, and you feel it's weird because you feel a visual, a quite literal question mark pop over your head in a very toony way,
Hmm.
which I don't know if Dave's ever experienced that.
They probably haven't.
Hmm.
They're just like, okay. I do not want to explain like all of it to my stepmom. Um, Definitely not gonna be able to get away with not
Hmm.
explaining the fusion, but
You say stepmom, and the images that you had remembered earlier pop up like a recording,
mhm. Yeah, her, yeah. But
and he's like, "Oh shit."
yeah, except older and sort of more disappointed in me. So
When you say disappointed, Connie, you feel them feel inwardly confused, and it's weird because the thought that you feel is, why would they ever be disappointed in you?
Daedalus break just sort of stops. Uh,
He doesn't
they,
say that. It's just a feeling that you get.
mm, um, okay, it's regardless. She is going to ask me something. I am tired of being asked. But she's probably also going to ask about this. She's almost definitely going to ask about this. What's it?
I
What's the
would,
story?
I don't know we don't even know our actual story.
She will need something.
I have no idea, Day. I'm so sorry.
Well, okay. It's what do you not want to share? Um,
At this point, I leave it up to you because I don't know.
Okay. Probably not the fact that you're the
Mhm.
god continuity because my family are followers. Um,
When you say that, you feel like exclamation points internally, and he's like, "You have followers? I don't have many Oh shit!
the Briggs family.
Oh shit!" He holds your mutual head, and he
I
takes a deep breath, and he's like, "Yeah, no, that probably wouldn't be good."
He didn't realize.
No, my brain is scrambled day. And you remember the
Okay.
fact that he said he didn't know, and he's not used to saying he doesn't know.
I take it easy. Okay. It's yeah for I want to say like 4 or 5 generations. It's been a while.
It's been 6.
Okay. Um,
It's on one side and 5 on the other.
okay. Um, yeah, so I don't want to deal with that because yeah, I'm not I might have gotten excommunicated a little bit. But that's fine. That's
You
fine.
say that, and he just like laughs, and it's not at you. He's laughing that anybody would excommunicate somebody from a continuity church because that's the dumbest thing he's ever heard.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. Like it was sort of like a mutual sort of breakup sort of thing. Anyways,
You hear really quickly, he's like, "That's not even how that's supposed to work."
yeah, I never
We'll
regardless.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And he's chuckling a little bit.
Mm,
I'll try to
regardless.
hold my tongue.
I'm gonna catch like not a ton of shit, but like there will sort of be like a sort of conversation about my sort of lack of piety. Um,
He
Shut
laughs, and
up.
then he laughs, but it's not at you. It's the fact that somebody would have to be pious for continuity.
Oh boy, you are out of it, huh? You're out of the loop. Okay.
I
Um,
I I don't I didn't I never asked for followers. I wasn't necessarily involved. I know of them, but I don't ask anything of them.
oh
Really,
oh
I
boy,
guess
this is gonna be a wild ride for you.
I will try to hold my tongue, but what are even all those standards? Don't time travel? That's not necessarily easy to do. Oh, that reminds me, there's this one man I absolutely despise. Ugh.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah. So
he's a time traveling alien. Don't worry about it.
can we please sort of like focus because like I'm pretty sure this conversation is happening in like bullet time, but
Oh,
she is
yes.
yeah.
You get the feeling that Connie is getting much more distracted than normal, than he's used to. Because, again, he's not used to like a web of thoughts or not looking at a continuous timeline.
Mm, it is like okay. I guess we're like life partners.
We're what?
It's like it's sort of a, like we're partners, but not like romantic. Like I don't know about you, but I won't do that. So or do that like
I I have no idea. He like thinks seems to be looking inwardly, like he has no idea. And then again, you remember that little twinge of the person who had left, but you weren't as angry or upset with, and a little bit of recognition before he shuts that down. And he's like, I don't know. I don't think I do it like that anyway. How did we meet? Do we just wing it? He like holds his head, not sure. Like he's a god. He's never been in a relationship. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
it's like okay. We're just gonna we're just gonna do this. This is actively working against us.
Okay, I will try not to rebuke your mother-in-law.
I I don't know that you could, but
I'm the god of continuity, and I have ways of making that very clear. But I don't wish to cause you trouble. But he winces.
mm, and I think behind them they hear, oh my.
They're tail swishes and flicks, and you feel yourself turn around.
Mm. And you are looking at a very pretty, familiar looking, very tall tiefling, who's sort of looking you up and down in recognition, but also sort of surprise.
Day, you feel your face blush.
Mm. Why are we blushing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I'm embarrassed.
What? Okay. Hey, Ma.
Yeah, that was internally.
Mm, the hey, Ma was a external, and Day is going to sort of like shuffle their feet and just be like, how's tricks? Tricks are fine. What? Fusion, hmm? Her eyebrows are raised very high. Do I know this person?
You feel your face again go more pink, and you're realizing Connie's embarrassed because you're about to admit to a relationship that he has no clue about. He's
Yes.
not against it, he just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's not used to that.
No, I'm going to roll, okay. 16. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think by now my social circles are pretty removed from the families. But yeah, this is and they sort of do sort of an awkward bound. One part your son kid thing, one part my bud Connie. Yeah, we're close.
You hear a mental awkward laughter.
Connie. I last name?
No last name.
Oh, nothing wrong with that, I suppose. Some tunes don't.
The librarian, I suppose, is the closest.
Librarian. Delightful. Our family has always had good luck with librarians. And may I?
Your tail is switching so nervously. And Connie is not aware of it.
Yeah, she's just like eyeing that sort of that tick, like, may I ask why today in particular this is happening? I don't know. It's comfortable. It's
Mutual support.
and she like sort of looks through your eyes, as if she's like trying to stare into your soul or like just sort of focus on something. Just goes, oh, Daedalus.
There is one eye. The shape is even, but there is one eye colored like Dave's and one eye colored like Connie's.
She focuses on the day one and goes, oh, Daedalus, is your anxiety getting that bad? You're just like, no, Ma, I'm doing all right. I'm managing a retail establishment.
You feel one of your fists tighten.
Yes, but alone, and it's the rest of the family has moved on, and we're genuinely worried about you, dear. And Connie, you feel a stab because like that is something that Dave believes, that they are genuinely worried about them. I'm fine. We can't just let the place go. It's been with us for years, decades, centuries, literally centuries. It it's just not it's not advantageous to have such a small. Excuse us, Connie. This is, well, I'm sure you're party to a lot now, but this is an old family argument.
It's, may I ask why?
And in your head, you hear Day start to think the answer, but their stepmother go their stepmother goes, "Oh, it's this place actually. This was where the family business started out. I'm sure they've told you. But
Yes.
since then we have gotten bigger. We have moved to different locations. We have created something of a family brand, and it's really it's your work would shine in the spotlight. Day. It's not right that you stay in a little corner like this.
You
Your
feel
work.
your head tilt as the mother-in-law talks.
Mm, and like it's Day never stops thinking, but like it's you can tell that they're listening, and yeah, they're like they have no choice except to listen to this person because this person is important to them.
Mm. You feel from Connie what feels like a burning curiosity that they're having trouble fighting. And you feel yourself step forward. And does the mother-in-law continue talking?
Um, I think that she'll cut herself off.
Yes, because how tall are they?
She's probably about maybe a few inches taller. Closer to 6 foot.
Mm. Uh, yeah, they're just watching this conglomeration of their kid and this stranger tilt their head and take a step forward.
What is it, dear?
Why is that an issue?
Oh, it's not. Issue is the wrong word, but it's a disconnect.
Oh,
Daedalus has chosen to operate um in a different sphere than the rest of the family, and that's okay. That's maybe for the best in ways, but as long as it's the best for them.
yes, so what's the issue?
There's hmm, and
And you can tell that Connie legitimately is trying to figure out what the problem is.
as as long as it's what's best for Daedalus.
Mhm.
Which
And you
brings me to
yeah.
and
Mhm.
she reaches into her bag and pulls out an envelope, and in your head you just hear Day go, ugh, this again.
Yeah, you feel Connie's hand reach out.
Mm. And you see on a bit of what you recognize as secure paper, um, which it's once it has been read by the correct person curls up into ash. You see an invitation um, the um, the Break News Gala, which is it seems to be an exclusive event hosted by one lady Willa Break News. Um, in like it seems to be a little bit of like a religious thing, a little bit of like a family reunion thing, a little bit of like maybe a little bit of business, but like it's and
It's
you
like a
realize
family
that
reunion and a business event.
sure, but with a little bit of like a little bit of like a family mass thrown in. And you realize that,
Mhm.
the invitation just says, you're cordially invited to. You're getting all this from like Day's recollections of like, yeah, and like in the background you can hear Clean break, uh because she hasn't introduced herself, but you know that her first name is Clean, and um Day calls her ma. Um, and like in your head, Day is just like, I don't. It's I'm not officially part of the family business. I don't have any reason to be there. All it is just going to be more of people who think they know what's best for me, trying to get me to, put myself out more, get more patents out, get more. It's not it's not anything malicious. It's just people are gonna
Mm.
try shit I don't want to have to put up with.
Is this internally?
Yes.
Okay, back to bullet time. Why were you excommunicated?
Basically because I didn't want to put up with rules I didn't believe in,
What were the
and
rules?
basically that there's sort of like you have to live your life with continuity in mind. Like specifically, once you choose a route, that's what you stick with. And like that can change, shift, ebb and flow, but it's got to be the same route. You can't just be like, well, I don't want to be a plumber anymore. Think I'll be an electrician.
That's not how continuity works at all.
Yeah, I don't.
Hmm.
And also,
You,
and I say
you
this with
know?
affection now that I know you, but like, I didn't particularly care. Like,
No, why should you?
mm,
It's not your job, it's mine.
I mean,
I
I
never asked
didn't,
for mortals to worship me. I don't even know honestly how they found out about me. Oh, it's probably Flo.
there's a lot of emotion in that name. We'll get back to
I'll
that,
tell you about them later.
please. But, I mean, you sounded like a nice guy, but I didn't understand, like,
Mm,
why you deserved, you know, 3% of all profits, to go to your
what?
church. Yup,
What? I've never asked for a tithe.
it's a scam.
It is
Um,
man. I mean, I understand being pious and wanting to give to build something, but if it's what were they doing with the money?
Sometimes it'd be community things, sometimes it'd be sort of like funding for like this is not my area expertise, but like a lot of the time it would be like, a law thing for like if someone had a patent go wrong or, like it just the older I got, the less I felt like I could in good faith stay there. And so when everyone wanted to let this place go, I said that I'd take it up. And since then, my life has not known peace.
Connie is thinking really hard, and then he says, "How the hell is letting go of this place for that you've had for centuries part of continuity?"
Because, there's a sense of continuity in like going to bigger and better things or like sequentially.
Sequentially, but the, he seems like legitimately confused because he's trying to like, in his mind, how continuity works. Um, all that continuity is detailing important historical events pertaining to change and continuity from the beginning of of whenever. That that record can be anything. The continuity is just organizing what has happened,
Mm.
meaning anything can happen. That's the whole point of the story, is that anything can happen. It's just organizing the things that have happened in a way that others can understand it.
Mm.
And so they're really confused at why this is such an issue. Not because not from your side of things, but why your family cares so darn much when it shouldn't be an issue if they understood what continuity really was.
It's
Uh,
they think I've
yeah.
stagnated. They think I'm not moving forward. Um, and maybe they're right, maybe they're not. I don't care because I'm happy and
Hmm.
I love what I do and I love this place.
How is being happy stagnation from what I have felt about happy? That's what the goal is.
It's because I'm not trying to expand. I'm not, I get a
Well,
couple patents out every few years, but like it's not that's I guess not enough. So
expectations.
basically, the reason that why I'm probably going to go to this stupid party because I love them and I don't want to say no, is so that they can just sort of remind me of all the things that I should be doing.
You feel something you've never felt from Connie before, where it's not necessarily puffing up his chest or anything, but as in bullet time you feel that letter turning to ash, you can feel their hand starting to grip tightly. And it's not an anger so much as upset and protective of you.
I
And they're angry. But it's not like the lashing out hot angry so much as stubborn and not gonna let people do shit to you. It is, I am going to be the boundary.
Day has no idea what to do with that. I think they
And
just like
very quickly, you're out of bullet time. And they say, well, what is the problem with being happy?
nothing. That's what we want for Day.
Then why do you keep pressuring them?
Pressuring is no, dear. It's
As somebody who is in their head, that is how they feel. Have you actually asked them genuinely,
okay.
without judgment, how they feel?
You feel your mouth move without your consent, and they go, okay, this is a different conversation. Well,
You,
you can tell Auntie that we will be there. We're not unfusing for this. They go, are you okay? You are of course allowed a +1. They'd be allowed
mm,
either way. No, we're not unfusing.
don't worry, I am familiar with continuity as well. And you feel the corner of your mouth twitch up.
Oh, wonderful. It's
Yes, we have shared experiences, Day and I. Don't worry.
okay.
And
Well,
you feel yourself give a polite little bow, and they're just like, I hear that you've done great things with your church.
well, it I we only have one member of the clergy. And she sort of gives a little bit of a laugh. Ours is not the most pious family, and you're friends with Day, of course you know.
Well,
But
at the end of the day, I'm sure continuity just appreciates people's efforts, and remembering them just adds to their domain.
hmm,
Which everybody knows that if you know a god, it does add to their domain.
mm, just so. Um, but I'm glad that you finally saw reason, Daedalus. I am so happy to know you'll be there.
I
And
will say, very quick, ma'am, before you leave, uh, I politely remind you that if they feels uncomfortable, I will say something.
of course, and you will not be alone. It
And what was that last part?
and you will not be alone. And she's giving you sort of a. It would be conspiratorial if like Day wasn't sort of like in the back of your head, like yeah. But like
Mm.
it's she seems to think that you are both on Day's side.
Connie is on Day's side, but they're not on the mother-in-law's side.
This is stepmom.
Not mother-in-law, shit.
Mm.
Stepmom. I don't know
Mother.
why I get those terms confused in my head.
It, the language is not clear, and they both have mom in them.
Yes. But you feel your tail flick in a way that isn't anger or aggravation, and probably in a way that your stepmom hasn't seen before, where it was almost like pride,
Mm.
but in a smug way.
Hmm. Can she
Yeah,
roll an
in a
insight?
way, yeah, in a way that, oh, they know something. Yeah, roll
Hmm.
insight with advantage. he's not actively hiding this.
Mm. 2 6s.
You're not sure, but you have a feeling that he has a plan.
Well, that seems...
And you feel yourself smile in a way that isn't your smile. It's their smile. And what was the stepmom saying?
I think that she just sort of looks a little bit oddly at their tail, and goes, well, it's, Daedalus, I don't know how you would feel about a hug right now. And immediately you get, they want a hug. They would like a hug.
Yeah. Connie steps forward, and you feel their features soften, and they feel like your features.
And you get a very warm mom hug, Connie, and it feels like you are being held by someone who loves you.
Yeah, you do feel Connie does not hate this woman. They are upset with them for basically picking on Day without them realizing they're picking on Day. That feels upsetting to them. They're still working out that emotion. Because it's a little confusing, but protectiveness of some sort feels like it's in their nature. And you remember the fact that continuity is protective of continuity. And thus, that sense is easily transferred to you. And they hug back with you, and you hear them say in your stepmom's ear, "Thank you for coming to check on us.
Always.
It is a pleasure to know you." And they stick out their hand as they part from the hug.
I think with one hand she takes it, but with the other she sort of cups their face and goes, it's truly good to see you happy, both of you together.
I think we're going to be very good friends, more than we are now. It is very good to meet you, and I look forward to meeting the rest of Daedalus's family.
Of course. And she steps away. And with that, she turns and leaves. She goes, oh, it's Day, I hope you don't mind. I went ahead and fixed your door. And they go, I could have done it, Ma. They go, yes, but you didn't have to.
You feel your mouth suddenly cut you off and said, "Thank you. We were a bit preoccupied trying to figure out what groceries to stock up on." So we appreciate the help.
Don't tell her that we need. Oh, do you need groceries? I could pick you up some. No, Ma, we're fine.
Again, you feel your mouth cut off. Connie just says, "Thank you for the offer, but honestly, we're excited to go shopping together."
Please let me argue with my stepmom.
You feel mentally, do you want them to stay or leave?
Leave.
Then let me have the mouth.
Okay, fine.
And you feel your face smile so sweetly. And it's not a lie, but it feels interesting. But you know that other people would perceive it as, oh, very kind and polite. And they kind of follow the stepmom out, and they look at the door and they're like, oh, well, I see where Dare gets some of their influences. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Just before the door closes, you see her expression sort of flicker, like, oh, okay. But the door is already closed, and so she sort of awkwardly turns and leaves.
Oh, did they catch on to Connie?
That was a nat 20 on an insight.
Can I roll deception?
Sure.
Oh, Connie, please, you're supposed to be good at deception. Let's see. Yes, he's decent at it. Oh, man. I'm really hopeful. Damn. Yeah, no.
Nat 1.
He wasn't trying to completely hide it, but he wasn't being rude. It was more of like, if with that insight, they can tell that, oh, they're protecting Day. Day must be overwhelmed and they're being nice.
There's a little bit of like hurt, like, because I think you get from some of Day's memories that, like, once upon a time, that was one of the people that they went to when they were feeling overwhelmed. That they loved and trusted enough to just, you remember burying your face in her shirt and just, like, getting your breath back after, a bad day at school. But if her gone is what Day needs, then she leaves.
Yeah, and that is a nat 20 insight, so I'm going to give them a little bit more. They might feel glad that someone is sticking up for Day, but not doing it maliciously towards their family. You can tell that Connie was not trying to be mean or rude and was caring about you. And he meant the thing about the door, and that was a genuine compliment about, oh, I see where Day has gotten some of their stuff and habits from. And you figure that this person is just politely diffusing.
It's probably like, it's okay. They will trust their kiddo with you.
Yeah. They might feel like, oh, Connie has a good friend. I mean, Day, shit. Day has a good friend.
And once she's gone, Day just kind of goes, holy shit, okay, alright. Oh boy, emotions.
You feel, Day, you feel, again, not completely trying to hide it, it's just his corner of the mind, of if you could purr, that is what's happening. As they are already thinking ahead in a way that you know that continuity does. They look ahead and they plan.
Okay, what do you let me see that. What are you doing?
He chuckles and you feel your chest rumble in a voice that's deeper than yours.
Oh, for the love of, just like, you feel
No, I'll show you. I just I'm excited to help you.
Ominous, extremely ominous.
Well, nobody knows the religion of continuity better than the god themselves. So maybe we should brush up on some religious texts before we go. And you feel yourself smile.
I feel like you're gonna get angry. I feel like you're gonna get seriously angry.
Potentially, but I'll be able to stand my ground and you won't have to worry. And I don't intend to be an asshole to your family, because at the end of the day, I remember what you saw in them.
There's a little bit of, like, you could be an asshole to Paige if you want.
Connie takes note of that.
That's a
and
joke.
It's added to the bottom of the list as a plan Z.
Okay, Paige is fine. Paige, like, don't.
I will need mental flashcards of basic facts of all the family members. I do not wish to go into this blind. Otherwise, we're going to have to improv again, and I don't think that's good. I think we should at least pretend that not pretend. That's stupid. There's no pretending here. I should get to know you and your family better. We're going to be stuck like this, I figure, for a while, and may I be honest.
Sure.
Even if we do unfuse, I would like to be your friend.
I think at this point we are.
We ate celery together.
Exactly.
You feel yourself beam on the inside.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is...
Don't worry. I have learned from your thoughts a little bit that celery is not quite that. I will not give your family celery, I don't think.
I mean, it could be sort of a fun thing. I would love to see Ani sort
actually,
of like...
That could be hilarious. I could say it's a cultural thing.
Which culture, though?
Who knows? They don't need to know. I can say, Have you ever heard of Meridian?
Can they roll history?
Yep.
24.
24. You yourself don't know this, but you get a flicker from Connie's side of things. Meridian is a weird place. People know about it and also don't know about it at the same time. It was a place created by a god.
What about it?
Well, I can say it's from there. Most people are able to remember that it's a place. It's one of the fun little things about it. So they shouldn't question.
Okay, I got a question now.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a place called Ordinal Point? Only I met someone from there, like, the other day, and, like...
You feel your heart kind of seize.
What? What did I say?
uh,
Connie?
Ordinal Point is definitely a place in Meridian, but you shouldn't know that.
Well, there was, like, a kid who came from there.
No, you don't understand. You should not have been able to hear me say Meridian. Not if you had met him. I guess it's because we're mixed up.
Okay. So maybe we pick a different place in case anyone else has met Laura.
No, it'll basically default to Ordinal Point if I say that, but at the same time, definitely a different place. Then please do not tell them. Don't tell Laura the name of his country. Don't do that to him.
Okay. Okay.
And you've been pretty chill, but this means that Connie knows lore.
Yeah, they're just gonna take a note of that.
And they just kind of sigh. Well, somewhere in Furuma, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Could say it's from Space Australia.
Is there a Space Australia?
On Zatori, yeah.
On the toy. Sorry, brain is still scattered.
You're okay. It's maybe when you were learning the little continents, it was called something else.
Yes, celery is a form of friendship. That should be fun. But, Daedalus. And he smiles. And you know that he's not saying your full name out of, like, teasing or malice or anything, and that it's actually him showing you affection. Like, he likes the way that your syllables sound when he says them.
Aw. Gosh.
And he looks like he's kind of asking you a question, like trying to get your attention, and he's just like, Daedalus.
Yeah.
If we tread this line very carefully, we can have a lot of fun at that family reunion of yours. I know that's not exactly what it is, but I have some ideas. You got that new articulation device, correct? The one that, we're smart. We want to make some prototypes.
I mean, it's not our design. It's Bill Kim's, but
no, but there's ways to patent things with another individual. And then everything from that design, you can then move on from and patent yourself while referencing that original design. And thus you give the credit, duly noted, but the inventions made after are credited to you because that person did not incorporate their technology in the way that you have. I'm continuity. I know a little bit about patents. Speaking of, do you know how fast a parcel cat can file a patent?
Do you know how fast I can make new limbs?
I'm thinking that We don't have to brag, but if anybody bugs you, I'm pretty sure this is something that will shut them up.
For the record, I think my record is 3 patents within a year.
How about 5 patents in a week? And he smiles.
Do you think it'd be too much to bring like a camera so that we can see Paige's face?
You see Continuity smile, and you see basically picture images of places he's seen and whatnot flash into his mind. And he's like, I am a camera. And you see him, what you think is prestidigitation, kind of cast, and then some sort of other spell make it solidify. And you're holding a picture of one of the places in your hand.
Okay, that's seriously cool. And you can feel in your head, like they're not exactly looking forward to it, but they feel prepared for this gala. It feels like you're well armed.
Mm-hmm. And at the thought of well armed, you hear Connie chuckle, knowing that he's thought of a pun.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you just thought well armed. And he looks around and gestures.
Oh, okay.
Also, he chuckles. Your family seems the type to appreciate things well documented. And he smiles. He's like, after all, their father was of continuity, right?
Well, you'd be surprised.
Hmm.
Well, most of them.
Well, I guess Toonie attributes. I'm pretty sure I'm the only Toon god who can actually do paperwork, because I find it fun.
Yeah, I'm a lot of us are half toons, so or in my case quarter toons. Yeah. Oh, you should also know, I'll be the shortest one there. It's
Not
genetic effect.
anymore. With
Son of a gun. I'm gonna be taller than Paige.
Yeah, you kind of feel yourself stretch and whatnot and take stock. And you kind of feel Connie suddenly get like slightly better balance and control, like he hadn't consciously been trying to operate before. And it's not overtaking you, but as he gets more control, you feel yourself get more control. And he stretches it like, I think we're about 5'9".
That seems a little bit okay. That's an extra 5 feet. Paige is about 5'6". And Paige is the one sort of relative that I will always be happy about one-upping.
Oh, please do tell me a little bit about Paige.
He's the clergy.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, he's a priest. I believe that he
I myself, Katie, needs help knowing, because the religion I go to is organized very differently. We don't have quote unquote clergy, so I need help.
I pet you. I'm just like, hey, let me design a non like an unlicensed religion for your god. I'm so sorry.
No, I want this. Do you know how much I want this? I want this so bad. Do you know, like, it's fucking D&D with full of gods and clerics. There's gonna be cults and religions. This is beautiful.
Well,
that's like a fundamental. There's an entire class for this, and it's called cleric. Like, we are good. Oh my gosh, what if they're okay? I'll have to talk to you after about remind me to talk to you about Paige stuff. I have an idea. Anyway, you were saying?
Well, Paige's job is basically I think they've worked sort of
Is there only the one church and they're kind of in charge of it? They're like the head of the religion?
Oh no, they are not in charge of anything. They're kind of. They're a bureaucrat.
Then why does it matter that you only have one clergy if they're not in charge of the church?
No, like in our family. We have one member of the clergy in our family.
Oh well.
Yeah, they
You feel yourself on Connie's side, be confused at why that's so important to be a member of the clergy and not just worry about being pious followers if that's so important to them.
Well, they work on, like, if the church, stages an event, they're on, a couple different committees. I think that their holy duty is, like, writing stuff down, like, important things in the news.
Ah,
Like, a little
no,
bit
that's
like a
fantastic.
journalist, but, like, they don't
I'm not.
share stuff with anyone.
No, I'm not going to lie. I remember your family now, and I have used those articles. They're very well documented.
You'd probably have used my grandparents.
Most likely. Did you ever write one? And he seems to like have a flicker of a memory.
Well, there's like I was in training for like 2 weeks.
There was an article, something about and he seems to like you feel your fingers snap. And what's something that Day cares a lot about and is just kind of hyper focused on?
Probably like I'm gonna say the cardiovascular system.
Yeah, you see a document kind of pull up in your mind, and that's the thing you wrote.
It's
And it has diagrams and everything, and your
I will
handwriting's,
say they were in training for this when they were like 7.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like cute little handwriting, and it's like the attempts at drawings, and you get the feeling of fondness coming from Connie. He's like, I remember this.
oh God. Oh, you need to forget it. That's no. Oh
You
my
feel like
gosh! Look where I thought look where I thought the heart connected. Look at that. That's oh no.
yeah, you
It's like
feel
an
a
almond
flicker
shape.
of you feel a flicker of like not sadness or whatever, but just disappointment, and not in you or anything, but just disappointment that you think it's bad. And he's like, this is one of the things that reminded me that continuity didn't have to just be facts.
Mm.
This was an important moment in your life. I filed it in your book.
I hesitate to ask what else was in that book.
I don't remember all of it. I'm going to be honest.
For the
But
best.
I'm sorry if we remember. But this was, and you feel like a glint of a very deep emotion that you realize continuity, even in his powerful domain, had a flicker of when he saw this. And you get that flicker of the person who left the original one and a memory of nostalgia fondness. As you see a flash of what you assume you're shorter, you assume is Connie holding up a book to that person you remember. And the handwriting isn't as good. And it's very similar. And them asking this person if it was any good.
And they would have said, yes, of course, it's perfect.
And you just see Connie mentally looking very, very fondly at this cardiovascular system you tried to make.
I think their tail sort of curls around them.
Yeah, you also hear Connie say, from what I remember of the Church of Continuity, honestly, Day, you probably were the most pious of them all.
You. There's doubt, and not because like they think that you're wrong, but like it's. I think you get a flicker of a conversation in a very young voice that it's probably days. It goes, well, why can't we just be friends with them? That way we can share and they won't. And you hear another voice say, just drop it, Daedalus, just drop it. And they sort of tug that memory away.
Connie takes that, and I feel like he's able to connect the dots of what they meant. Do you think that's fair? Or should I roll?
Probably roll.
Intelligence, disadvantage, advantage, or straight?
I'm gonna pose a disadvantage because emotions are not his forte yet.
No, they're not his forte yet. That makes sense. Okay, let's see, Connie boy. Should it be insight or
just straight intelligence?
Straight intelligence. Okay,
but also just ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he can gleam it first. Just because that's what his brain would do. Let's see if I can get any lower. I think the lowest I can get is 10. Yeah. Actually, no, the lowest I got was a 9. No, the lowest I can get, no, I'm mixed up. The lowest I can get is a 6. Okay, yeah, no, they don't know, but they kind of like, you feel them like tilt their head and question, and he's like, depends with who? And he asks it very kindly.
Oh, that was kind of my you call it my first split with the church. My mama died. And we were told that it was because she needed for the next phase of her existence. And my brother was the one who sort of explained that yeah. But I thought, I was a kid, and I just thought, the gods didn't, they sounded interesting, they sounded powerful, but they didn't sound any different. All the old stories, people make mistakes, people live, people, sometimes they died. So, all those big gods out there, maybe, and they sort of swallow, and sort of this sort of bitter remembering, like a childhood fancy. What if we were just friends? What if, no need for worship, no need for anything like that, just friends with and of course, it's blasphemous to be like, to think that, like, one, and you hear in your head, why do you think any god would want to be friends with you? And,
you feel Connie take that and not, it feels like the mental image of taking that image and crushing it, but like in a relief way. Just like the mental image of why not?
Yeah.
And it feeling like a gut reaction, like he wasn't intentionally doing it.
Yeah, though, it's just, I don't know. I was a little kid. I was in probably a lot of pain, honestly. I didn't really know which way was up at the time. But I just thought, if the gods needed my mom so damn badly, the way we needed her, maybe we could share.
Well, I don't. So you said, like, if the gods needed her so badly, why not share?
Because, and the undercurrent is because they needed their mama. Their brother needed their mama.
You feel Connie not so much wistful. It's like, when you're thinking and you're really pondering upon it and like taking it and mulling it over, and not just factually, but emotionally. And you feel like he's not struggling, but like feeling his way around this feeling in a better way than he has been. Kind of like he's been observing your memories and your feelings and starting to try to, it may not be the best way right now, but analyze them and figure out how to use them to benefit how he thinks. And so you feel your head tilt again, and he just kind of goes, Well, I can't think of any actual fundamental law of the universe that says you can't.
Yeah.
And continuity means we're all continuous. So don't worry. I'm sure she's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Things don't end.
They don't.
And you actually, when you're talking about all of this, you get the flicker of this person again that Connie keeps thinking of. About how they also left. And how they could have used a friend and how much they cared about their domain and their followers and everything. The point where Connie could tell it hurt them to an extent. And you feel a new knowledge that it really hurt them. He now knows that it really hurt them. How much he cared. They. I'll get it eventually.
I pat you. Yeah, they're out there.
Yes. And don't worry, I'm sure you know a little bit about Prismatome. They'll take care of them.
Yeah.
We know them. Don't worry. Day.
Yeah.
Want to make a plan to stick it to Paige?
Kinda a lot.
Wonderful. Let's go get groceries and then come back here, eat a shit ton of celery, and make things that blow their fucking minds. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a god and an amazing inventor tiefling in here, so I'm pretty sure that we can make some really amazing crap. And patent the shit out of that. Shove it in his stupid little face. And take a mental picture of that and put it and frame it on your wall.
Something like that.
Something like that. I can make a mural if you really want.
No.
And he kind of chuckles.
I don't need to see his face that large every freaking day.
Wonderful. Don't worry, we'll think of something, I'm sure. And he just smiles and he's like, it will be in a way that nobody can necessarily tell you it was uncalled for. That's the best kind. Malicious compliance. Oh, I think they call it. I know somebody who likes to call it chaotic lawful. I'm kind of fond of that term. As long as you don't break the rules.
Oh boy. Oh, whoever it was is gonna rue the day they put us in the same room.
Oh, yes, they are, because we are going to make some fucked up shit.
And I think that's where we end it.
Yes. They handshake. They're the people who make the Doofenshmirtz mechanisms. Anyway.
God.
The things that shouldn't work.
Thank you for listening, folks. This was so fucking fun.
It was very much fun. I hug you and I jump up and down.
I also hug.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you for everybody who listened, and we'll see you at another time as soon as I can find my OBS. So we're just gonna tra-la-la a little bit and desperately look for it. Where did it go?
There it is. Have a toolbar?
I do, but it's complicated. All right. Bye.
Bye.